Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 2:05 a.m. on this cold Saturday evening going into Sunday morning. It is currently 30 degrees outside. It doesn't feel super cold though. I mean, it's cold and I have my boots on, but it doesn't feel super cold outside. And I was driving around listening to Christmas music, waiting for my car to warm up a little bit. I have my seat heater on and I have the heat on up to 74. I had it on 77 and now I'm going to turn it down to 70 because it's very warm in here. And I have a little bit of a special treat for you guys today. So, I just like pulled in and parked at the post office because this is like an easy place for me to park and just like talk. And last night, I pulled in here because I had a cameo that was getting ready to expire. So I have so much time to do cameos before they expire. And I knew I had to do it and get it done before I went to sleep. So, I just pulled into the parking lot and did it here. And so then I was like on Facebook and I was looking at the vlogerino's posts and stuff like that. And I had been meaning to watch the Vlogmas videos from the several people that are doing Vlogmas, based on like the 10-day Vlogmas challenge that was posted on the Vlogerino's Facebook group. And so I went in and I started watching all the videos. So if you've posted your videos on the Vlogerino's group or in the Vlogerino's group, chances are I've seen your Vlogmas videos. But the thing is that like it just like would take me straight from Facebook over there, so like I couldn't comment on the videos, if that makes sense, because I would have to like go into YouTube and then like, you know, you got what I'm saying. Okay, so I watched, I don't know how many people I watched, but I thought it would be fun, since everybody else is doing it, for me to respond to the 10 Vlogmas challenge prompts. Oh, well, I have, okay, so here's Bunny. Right here I have a thumbnail of, I have a picture from Bunny's video, because I was going to use that for something. I won't tell you what yet. So here are the 10 Vlogmas challenge prompts. 1, introduce yourself, introduce the challenge, and what you're excited about for the challenge and the holiday season. I think I've talked probably enough about myself on all of my channels that I probably don't need to do that one. Day 2, tell a story from a holiday as a child. I've probably done all of these, which is a little bit where they got the idea, I think. Day 3, tell a story from your favorite recent holiday. And, okay, you know what I have to tell you is, okay, I can't remember her name now. I watched all of her, oh shoot. I have her picture right here. Because she's the one that came up with these Vlogmas prompts. And, darn it. Okay. Well, you know who you are, and you did a fantastic job coming up with these prompts. I loved it. Okay, so tell a story about, tell a story from your favorite recent holiday. Tell a story about your favorite holiday foods. Share a recipe. Tell a story about how you met your best good Judy or a holiday memory with them. Make and share a gratitude list. Talk about your favorite holiday movie. Talk about a past or new holiday tradition you have had. Tell a story about your favorite gift you've ever given or received. And 10, open-ended, share whatever is in your heart. And I love these prompts. I think they are so fantastic. Hold on, I want to go in here for a second. Peter Moss Vlogerinos. I need my glasses is what. It's Carissa that came up with them. Okay, so Carissa, thank you so much for coming up with these prompts. They're fantastic, and I really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys doing it. And then, okay, I definitely watched Kristen's, Debbie's, There were like 4 other ones. Oh, I don't want to mispronounce your name. It's K-O-E. I think you pronounce it... I don't think you pronounce it Ko. I think you pronounce it like K-O. Because that's how it sounded in your intro, but I don't want to, like, mispronounce it. So, but I loved all of your, so you guys, I've watched all of your Vlogmas videos so far that you've posted. And there was like 2 or 3 more people that I watched, whose names I can't remember now. Let me get one here and see. Okay. Oh, I love Carissa puts in here. Talking points and ideas. Tell a story about how you met your best good Judy or partner. Talk about how long you have known each other. Tell a crazy or silly memory. Talk about how you celebrate the holidays with them. Talk about your favorite gift you have given or received, or both, from your good Judy. Well, I could do that about Tanya Jean. That's a good one. Okay, let me make sure that I know these really quick. How I met my good Judy. How long have we known each other? A crazy or silly memory. How we celebrate the holidays with them. And the favorite gift I've ever received. Okay, so let's talk about that, and then I will pull another prompt, and we will go with that. Okay, so my best Judy, Tanya Jean. I think most people know this story by now, but I had used her kennel like 24 and a half years ago. And there was like, we were trying to figure out the other day, because she has me in her system, and so she's like, I can actually look up like the very first time you ever came in here, which would be the very first time that I ever met her, which would be around when we met, and then we could figure out like the exact date of when I met her, because the very first time that I ever went into her kennel is the actual date that I met her. She looked familiar to me because she had sponsored girls and women at the treatment facility that I had worked at. So when she would come in there to like pick them up and stuff to take them to meetings, I would see her. And I had seen her at some meetings, I think, too. So she looked familiar to me. And so when I went in there, I was talking to her and I said, you look so familiar to me. And she was like, you look familiar to me as well. And I said, but I can't figure out how. And so anyway, we just started talking, and then we realized we were both in recovery together, and we put 2 and 2 together. And she had just actually come back from a yoga class with these 2 girls that used to work for her that haven't worked for her for years and years and years. This lesbian couple that I absolutely used to adore. They had dragonfly tattoos, because apparently dragonflies mate for life, and I always thought that that was so romantic that they had those. Unfortunately, they did not make it as a couple. So Tanya had gone to this yoga class with them, and she was telling me about it, and I just loved her energy, like, right out of the gate. And she was like, yeah, I almost got kicked out of this yoga class, and she was like telling me these things that she was having to do, and she said she got laughing so hard that the yoga instructor was gonna like kick her and these 2 girls out of the class. So anyway, and I was just like laughing, and I was like, oh my God, I love this person so much. And I was very lonely at that point. I didn't have a lot of friends in sobriety. I was dating my first boyfriend in sobriety, which I consider my first long-term relationship. But he worked like 2 jobs, and I mean literally like 70, 80 hours a week. So he was never home. And my other roommate at the time, oh no. That would have been after she moved out. So it was just he and I, and he was working like 78 or 80 hours a week. And I didn't have a lot of friends. Definitely didn't have a lot of friends in recovery. My one friend that got sober on New Year's Eve, right before that, because she and I went to a ton of meetings together, like my first year sober. Right before that, she had moved out of state to go get her master's degree in business. She got accepted to like this international business school, like a really great business school. So she decided to go there. And so I was like very much just alone, and I was in the kennel, and I was talking to Tanya, and So I just stood there and talked to her for like 20 minutes or half an hour or so, and she's like, you should stop by sometime and smoke a cigarette and hang out and whatever. And I was like, okay. But like my social anxiety, I don't think people like really get it sometimes, like how bad it really is. Like to even just talk to her that day was probably hard. And so I was like, yeah, sure, sometime I will and whatever. And I kept on driving by for like the next 2 weeks. Like her kennel was on my way home from work. And but when I lived in my apartment, I literally lived like less than 2 minutes from her house. And so I was like, one day I just was driving home and I was like, what do I have to lose? And I stopped in there and she and I hung out, and we have been, like, I mean, right out of the gate, we became very, very, very good friends. And then she introduced me to her sponsor, who is our friend that went back out several years ago. And then she introduced me to some other people, and we became a little group. And I, for once, felt like really connected, and like I had a group of really great friends. And, you know, I owe Tanya a lot for my sobriety, because I don't think that, like, I was at a place where I was going to go use, but I was definitely at a place where I felt really isolated. I don't know that at that time that I would have really kept going to meetings, and because I just didn't feel connected. I just didn't feel like, I kind of felt like, what was the point? Like, I wasn't meeting anybody. I was extremely shy. I would show up, like, you know, they tell us to show up early and leave late from the meeting. I would show up late and leave early. I was always the first one out of the meeting and the last one in the meeting, and I didn't talk to anybody, and that's not how you do it in recovery. Like, you need to put your hand out and introduce yourself to people and stuff, and it was really hard. And she just took me in, and Tanya's the kind of person that, like, if you're in her life, like, you're her family, and she does family dinners, and she has, you know, people over, and she stands in the kitchen and cuts up all this food, you know, watch a football game, or the Oscars, or a movie, or just sit out on the back patio and have a bonfire, and, you know, whatever. And Tanya's house, I would say, for very many years, was kind of like the hub of a lot of our, like, sobriety in our lives, because we would just stop by there, you know. And Tanya always sponsored a lot of people. Not a lot, but she always sponsored, at any given time, she was sponsoring several young women. And so, you know, they would be, like, over there all the time, and it just was like a fun place. I mean, Tanya's house was like the house. It was like there were always people there, people stopping by. It was just fun, you know. Her husband was always, like, doing stuff around the house, and, you know, Nick had friends over. It was fun. It was, you know, I was going home to an empty house where my boyfriend didn't come home until 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, from working room service at the Marriott. Was his part-time job, you know, and I was just sad and lonely, and there was nobody there. And, you know, over at Tanya's, it was like there was always several people there, and it was fun, and it was active, and it was loud, and, you know, and it was like that for years. You know, we'd, like, everybody'd sit outside and, you know, drink coffee or fountain pops and smoke cigarettes and talk for hours. And, you know, somebody'd be like, I gotta get a fountain pop, and a couple people would run to the gas station, everybody else would stay there. I mean, that was it. That was nights at Tanya's for years. It was fun, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's hard today. It's like, we had that group, and we just don't. You know, my sponsor, he was a huge part of that just passed away. And our one friend that moved to California, she was a huge part of that. And because she was younger, and she sponsored a lot of young ladies. And Tanya's sponsor, you know, that was also my very dear friend, went back out, and we have a couple other friends that went back out, and it changed, you know, to one day it was just Tanya and I. And we're kind of, like, I would say, rebuilding that, like, right now, like, not, like, recreating it, but Tanya and I now have, like, a really good group of, like, 5 of us that do the literature meeting on Monday nights. And it just feels like a very personal support group. And I feel very invested in that, and I'm I feel very blessed I was asked to be part of that. You know, it's really kind of a women's literature group that it started, and they all became like best friends. And you know, because I was Tanya's best friend, they asked me to be part of it. And you know, now I'm like really close with the other 3 women that are in that group, and it's just been fantastic. So that's how Tanya and I met. And Tanya and I just became thick very quickly. I mean, we just were, like, every day I would stop by or call, you know, on my way home from work. And the thing is, I didn't really have a lot to go home to at that time because, you know, Tanya would be at the kennel a lot. So Tanya and her husband and son, they actually lived in the kennel before they bought the house that they live in now. So it's like an old house, which now Tanya has converted into like an office and boarding spaces. But she like always talks about how she wants to move back to that because she likes the house at the kennel. I mean, it's a cute house. It really is inside. And so she would be over there so much. Like her son getting off the school bus would be dropped off at the kennel. And, you know, I would like be with Tanya for like hours, just hours and hours and hours. I mean, yeah, she really just saved me because I was lonely, you know. And then a couple years after that, when my ex and I broke up, and then I was, you know, single for a while, and it was hard. It was hard. So, and I mean, this isn't really a Christmas gift, but I think that the greatest gift that Tanya has ever given me is not allowing me to go through things in my life alone. She's been there for me, you know. And I'm just extremely thankful for it. So, the greatest gift that Tanya has ever given me, let's see. Well, this is kind of the greatest gift and one of the funniest stories. I told this on here before too. So I love psychics, everybody knows that. And I'm obsessed with those TV shows about psychics. I used to watch, what was his name? John Williams, is that his name? I can't remember. And I used to watch Sylvia Brown and Montel Williams, loved her until I found out she was fake, and then I was devastated. And I watched Monica the Medium. I really liked Monica the Medium. I would love to see her in person. And forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and a day, I watched the Long Island Medium. And why can't I think of her name right now? Why can't I think of the Long Island Medium's name? I can think of her dog's name was Petey. Her husband's name was Larry. Why can't I think of her name? Larry Jr. was her son. Why can't I think of everybody but her name? Caputo, Teresa Caputo. So I loved that show, and I was obsessed with that show, and I really believed that she was like the real deal. So for my birthday a couple years ago, we went out to dinner. It was Alex and I and Tanya and her husband Eric. That was it, just the 4 of us. I think maybe my sponsor went with us. And so Tanya had bought these like extremely expensive tickets to go see Teresa Caputo. She bought like $300 tickets. They were like $300 each because she knew how much I loved her, and she wanted us to have like the best seats in the house. So I have to say that that was the nicest gift that Tanya's given me. And not because of the price or anything like that, but because of, I'm going to share this in a drama video. I want to actually, I don't know who said it, so I should pull up in here. I'll talk about this later. But anyway, because it was a quote from the vlogerinos that I really loved. I think it was one of Kristen's videos. But, just because Tanya always puts a lot of like heart into the gifts that she gives, and she really thinks them through. And how is this battery like at the halfway mark? Seriously, at 19 minutes? Like, are you kidding me? I don't understand. So anyway, these batteries just get worse and worse and worse. I have 4 of them now. So anyway, she got these tickets, and so we go, and we're like literally like second, third row from the back. I mean, they were horrible seats. And I remember Tanya was like, I wonder how much everybody else paid. She was like, because I paid like $300. I mean, I knew because you could see on the tickets that like she printed it out and gave it to me. And I was like, it said how much it was. So she was like, I wonder how much everybody, they must have paid like $1,000 a ticket. So we were talking to these ladies next to us. I got laughing so hard. They were like eating popcorn and stuff. And one of them said something, I can't remember how it happened, but one of them said something about they were actually pretty good seats for how much they paid for them. And so Tanya was like, ask them how much they paid for their seats or something like that, because we were like joking with them. And I said, hey, how much did you pay for their seats? And they paid like $50 or something for their seats. Tanya was livid. And then, the girlfriend of Tanya's nephew walked in with her mom and like walked straight down and was like, hi to us, and was literally like in the second row. And we were like, what is going on here? So anyway, when Teresa Caputo started, she said something about how her ticket sales go through her fan club. I don't really understand how it works. But she said that her ticket sales go through her fan club. And she said that, there's no ticket in the house. I mean, Tanya, I thought Tanya was going to lose it right there. That no ticket in the house costs more than $100. So if you paid more than $100 for a ticket, you bought a scalped ticket that was sold illegally. Tanya was so mad because she was like, I just went on the website and bought it. And I was like, you went on? She's like, but I didn't go to the fan club. She was like, I went to some like Teresa Caputo website where you could buy tickets or something. She was so mad. But it was almost kind of like so laughable at the same point. It was like, oh my God, like we got totally scammed. And then the whole Teresa Caputo thing was just such a joke because she's a fake, y'all. I mean, she's totally a fake. And she does, okay, so what she does is called cold reading. And so it's very easy to train yourself to do this. Like I've talked to people that used to be psychics that aren't anymore, that like charge for it. I just can't believe anybody. I think it's so cruel that people would charge for that. And when it's, but what you do is you look at somebody and you go, you recently had somebody that passed in the last 6 months to a year, right? Well, most people have had somebody that has passed in the last 6 months to a year. If they say no, you go 2 years ago, and they'll go until you get it, right? So you cold guess basically until you get it. But if they, let's say if they say you had somebody that passed in the last 6 months to a year, and they go, and you go a close family member, and if, depending on how they look, a friend that you would consider a close family member, a friend that was maybe older than you, like a mentor, you cold call until you guess and get it. That's what Teresa Caputo does. You can tell, okay? This is where it got it to be a mistake for Sylvia Browne, where I almost kind of wonder if Sylvia Browne really truly was a psychic. Sylvia Browne would come out and say specific things, like I'm looking at a CVS, like she would say, your husband died at a CVS. And I mean, that you could, I mean, that's very like true or not true, right? I mean, it's not that ambiguous. The episode that I was watching with Sylvia Browne when she was found out to be a fraud was, you can look it up online, it's on YouTube, it's called Sylvia Browne the Fraud or something. And it's when the woman says that her husband died and they've never been able to find him. And Sylvia Browne said, he's in water. It does not miss a beat. It says he's in water, that's why they can't find him, Montel. He drowned in water. And, Sylvia Browne, who with the long nails, it sounded like she smoked about 5 packs of Reds a day. He's in water, that's why they can't find him, Montel. And the woman goes, what? And she goes, he's in water, like he drowned in water, that's why they can't find him. And the woman looked at her and said, my husband was a firefighter in 9/11. And I mean, seriously, you guys, true story. I mean, again, not without missing a beat, Sylvia Browne was like, yeah, fire hoses, he drowned in water. I'm like, oh my God, Sylvia. But Teresa Caputo doesn't do that. Teresa Caputo, she guesses. You can tell. And I'm not saying that Teresa Caputo doesn't have any psychic abilities, but when you, like, I have watched enough videos of people faking it, and I have read enough stuff about like how to do it, that I should do a video where I show you what the psychics do. Like, because I think I could probably do it. It's just not hard. So when she's walking through the audience, And this is what kind of got me that's sad about it, because the people were literally like, it's not just like, where did I lose my kitty when I was 6? You know, I don't know where my cat went. It's not stuff like that. I mean, one woman she was talking to was like, her child had died in like a drive-by shooting. And it, you know, and maybe Teresa's offering hope to those people. I don't know, maybe, you know. I've gone to a lot of psychics that told me stuff, and maybe I chose to believe it and it helped me at the time. Who knows, right? Although I can tell you that like every psychic that I like walked out of and I felt like they were just total liars and didn't know what I was talking about, I was pretty real about it. I was like, this psychic that I went 2 years ago, I actually did a video about it on my Peter Monn channel. This psychic that I went 2 years ago, his name is Dave at New Age People. He was so weirdly spot on with stuff, and Tanya went to him too, and she didn't even believe in it. Like, because of her growing up evangelical, she was like really weird about going to see a psychic, but she wanted to. Tanya had, and I think it's because she went in there totally open-minded and everything, but like scared at the same time. She had the most incredible experience with a psychic that I have ever heard of anybody in my entire life. My friend that's a model, she went to go see Dave. True story. At the time, I don't think I've ever shared this story on here actually before. Maybe, I don't think I have. So we started sending a lot of our friends to this Dave guy, because my husband even went and saw him. My husband has no belief in God or whatever. Alex had, anyway, so while he was there, Alex had a kind of a spiritual experience that happened, which at the time, he was like calling his mom and calling all these people and telling them all about. Now, Alex says, oh no, I don't believe in all that, it's fake. But at the time, he really did. So we have a friend of ours that's a model, and she was, at the time, she had done like three or four callbacks to be, she was gonna be like a Victoria's Secret angel, and that had always been her dream. And so she just really felt in her gut. She had talked to all these agents about it. She had done castings. She had done walks. I think she'd done 4 of them. And it looked like she was going to be cast as like one of the next Victoria's Secret models. And so she happened to be in town for holidays. So she wanted to go see the psychic. And at the time she was living in Las Vegas. And I mean, she was doing really, she was modeling for Wilhelmina. And I mean, she thought she was going to be a Victoria's Secret model. Like, I mean, inside people at the company were like, yeah, they're like going to hire you. Like, this is like almost a done deal. And I think there were something like 6 callbacks, and she had done 4 of them and made it through. So she went to go see the psychic. And then after that, actually, after the holidays, she was supposed to go and do like a shoot in London. And so she's talking to the psychic Dave at New Age People, and she's telling him this stuff, and she's like, you know, this is blah 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 whatever, and he's like, no, that's not gonna happen. And she's like devastated, right? And she's like, what do you mean it's not gonna happen? And he's like, that's not what's gonna happen. And she goes, well, he goes, that's not what I see for you happening, or something like that. And she's like, you don't see me like being a Charlie's Angels, a Victoria's Secret model. And he's like, no, not at all. I see you going in a completely different direction. And she goes, like, London? No, and that was the one piece that she hadn't told him, I think, was that she was supposed to go to London. And she goes, like, London? And he goes, no. He goes, I see you in China. And she goes, what? And he's like, yeah, I see you going to China. And she was like, there was nothing, no information, nothing in her life about going to China. She went and saw him. I don't remember, I think it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. And she went back home to Las Vegas, and her agent called her and said, we're sending you to China for their fashion season, which was like 3 to 6 months or something like that. And she was in China for like 3 to 6 months. I mean, I swear by this guy. Although the second time that I went to him, he wasn't, it was either, I think I either went 2 times or 3 times. It might have been the 3rd time that I went to him. And he told me, he said, he could tell I was getting frustrated with what he was telling me. And he goes, what you're seeking is not here. And he goes, you need to stop coming. He goes, I don't know why you keep on coming to see me. And he goes, you're seeking something that isn't here. That's what he told me the last time. And I kind of just stopped after that. Melissa and I, a couple years after that, we went to go see, we went to the same place, New Age people, and we went to this psychic named Crystal, who was a total joke. But that was like for a Halloween video that we did together. I can't even, it stopped. I think we went and got Starbucks or something, but the first time that I ever went to go see him was with Tanya. And like, he even said to her, so he talks about a room. He says people, like, there's somebody that just came into the room, and the room is like where he can like talk to people. And he said to Tanya, this guy just came in the room, and he said, I'm seeing him as, and I'm not going to say Tanya's dad's name, but let's just say if his name was like Bill Smith. He's like, I'm seeing him as Bill, but everybody in the room's calling him Smith. Although it was like, let's say if it was like Smitty or something like that. It was like a shorter version of Tanya's maiden name. And that's what everybody called her dad. And he said the name in the room. And Tanya was like, are you kidding me? And he said, and also he goes, I see him kind of like, he has like a dent in his side from like holding onto his belt loop. And Tanya said like everybody would make fun of him because he always put his thumb underneath his belt loop. Tanya was so, like, she came out of the car, I've told this before, but the first guy that I went to, because when we were going in there, I wanted to go to this guy that was like this dog psychic. He was totally fake anyway. He was like, life cycles, you're a 1, you're a 9, you're a 1. He had me sign this paper that said it was for entertainment purposes only. So Tanya comes out to the car, and I'm sitting there waiting for her, and I'm over it, right? Like, I had this dumb experience. I'm so mad, I'm over it. So she has this weird look on her face. And I said, it's the weirdest thing that ever happened, wasn't it? I said, it was so fake. And she looked at me, and she stopped. I can remember I was like parked, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, just like waiting with the door open, just sitting there. And I go, wasn't that just the stupidest thing in the whole wide world? And she looked at me, and she goes, that was the most amazing experience I've ever had. I go, excuse me? And she started telling me about it. I go, oh, I got on the phone, like, with quickness and booked an appointment. Like, immediately booked an appointment. And then our friend, Liz, she came with me that afternoon, and we both went. And her experience was extremely interesting as well. And then Alex went with our friend that was here in town, the model. That's who he went with. And I went to that day. And that was like a year later or something, I think. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, it was crazy. So that's kind of a funny thing that happened with Tanya and I, the Teresa Caputo. I'm trying to think of a funny story that Tanya and I... Okay, I have a funny story for you guys that... if I've told it, I don't know. So, okay. We used to go to the Lake Norris, Tennessee, like every summer. 2 years previous to this, like our first big vacation that Alex and I ever took together was with our friend Demetrius that was just here in town visiting. And the three of us went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And it was like spring break period. And Alex, while we were down there, there's this, I don't know if the store still exists, but it was like in Wilton, whatever that place is called, the gay area of Fort Lauderdale. And they had this store, and it was called Tops and Bottoms. And it was real cute, though. And they had like lots of like swimsuits and all kinds of Speedos and whatever. But Alex bought these boy shorts, and they came, like, today I would have literally no problem with him wearing these, but like back then, I don't know, like I just was so weird. I did not like him wearing these shorts because they totally showed off his package, you know. And but they were so cute. It wasn't like a Speedo. It was like boy shorts, but they were just real short. They came like up to like the upper thigh. But the thing about them that was so cute was that they were very like East Coast. They were like blue and white, different like light blue, navy blue, and white plaid. And then they had like a buckle that you, like, they looked like pants, like suit pants that you would buckle over. And they were very classy. They were very nice, but they just showed a lot. And so, and I mean, my husband has probably one of the most perfect bubble butts I've ever seen in my entire life. And I know this is probably too much information for you guys, but like, so this bathing suit just made him look really good, right? And at that time I was kind of like, today I'd be flattered, like if he wore it, I'd be like, that's my husband, you know? But back then I was kind of like, I don't know if you need to, okay, so anyway, so, and I was actually in really good shape at that time too. So I would probably, if I was in good shape, wear that swimsuit today myself. But so anyway, we would go to Lake Norris, Tennessee like every summer. And it was like Tanya and Eric, Alex and myself. I think I went one year alone. That was before I was dating him. And then the next year we went together. And then they went one year and we didn't go. And then that was, nobody went anymore. And so... And then it was like a couple of our other friends that would go and stuff like that. My sponsor that just passed away, Tanya's sponsor, whatever. So we go down there and like the whole week, it's like, you know, hot girls in bikinis riding jet skis by our like pontoon boat and stuff, being like, woo! You know, we didn't have a pontoon boat. My older sponsor, he used to have a speedboat that he would take down there. And so like all these guys are like, you know, all the guys on our trip are like looking at, maybe I have told this story over here, I don't know. But they're looking at all these girls and whatever and stuff, you know. So I woke up late. I didn't know what had happened. Well, Alex got up early one day and he put on that swimsuit. And so our deck, oh, damn it, the battery's about to die. Well, you're gonna have to wait, and I'm gonna pull in here and tell the story. The deck was like up here, and then you walk this long staircase all the way down to the boat. So you could sit on the deck and you could look down at the dock, right? So Alex is down there with a towel in this swimsuit, and he's like spread out, you know, like sun tanning on the deck, waiting for everybody to get ready and come down so we can go on the boat, okay? Well, the men on the trip were fit to be tied, okay? They were like, we can't even go out here, and we can't even like, you know, this is so, like, he's out there, and what are we supposed to do, and we can't even enjoy, like, our trip, because we can't even go down to the boat, and whatever, and I guess Tanya and her sponsor, our friend, was like, why can't you go down there? Just go down there. And they were like, somebody was like, I think it was my sponsor, was like, this is so weird, like, you know, like, this is so inappropriate that he's down there in that swimsuit. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys this swimsuit sometime. You'd be like, that's a hot swimsuit. I mean, it's not like a Speedo with a string up your ass, okay? I mean, it's an appropriate swimsuit, right? It's plaid, and it's like, it's cute. Like today, I mean, back then it was a little bit, but today it would be nothing, right? So, hold on a second, let me change this battery. Please hold. Okay, I'm back. You know what I just realized? I made this cup of coffee and I haven't drank any of it. And it's this brand, I almost looked on the cup to see what the brand is. Like the brand was gonna be on the cup. It's that Crazy Coffee or something. And the flavors are very nutty. And I really, really like them. And this one's called White Christmas. And it's like macadamia nuts and cinnamon, and it's really good. Anyway. I think it was like mostly like my sponsor and like Tanya's husband or something at the time said, I can't remember, maybe Tanya's husband didn't say it, I don't know, but anyway, we're like, this is just like not right, and it's inappropriate that he's down there, and blah, blah, blah. And Tanya and her sponsor at the time were like, oh, no. Wait a second. All week long, we have had to sit here while you men have ogled over these girls and these little itty bitty bathing suit tops, you know, and showing their stuff all over the lake. And you men have been able to sit here and stare at this all week long, right? And now, and she referred to Alex as a Greek god. Now that we have this Greek god laying out on our, that we get to watch for a little bit while we're drinking our coffee and smoking our morning cigarette, sitting down there laying out on our what do you call it, Dog, now you guys have a problem with it? No, you can just sit there and shut your mouths. Tanya still laughs about that to this day. So, that was another little funny story. And then, let's see if I can think of a funny story that I've never told about Tanya, Jean, and I. Something funny. Something totally random. I'm not laughing at any specific story. I just can't think of anything. I mean, there's so many things. I told the story about the woman that got hooked. She was driving in the snowstorm trying to get to the bar. That story's kind of sad. The only funny part of it was when Tanya started firing questions at her. She's like, do you go to meetings? Do you have a sponsor? Have you ever worked at a forced? I'm like, Tanya, this woman is about to pass out any minute. Leave her alone. What else is a funny story? So Tanya used to, her kennel used to keep the canine cops. And so we would be driving around getting, this has been a long time ago, but we would be driving around getting a fountain pop and just drive around talking and stuff, you know. And there would be some like accident, or they had pulled somebody over, you know, and there'd be like 6 cops, you know, pulling somebody over. And Tanya'd say, pull up. And I'd be like, Tanya, I'm not pulling. She'd say, pull up. I want to talk to him. Because she just wanted to find out what was going on. And she'd say, hi, boys. It's Tanya from the kennel. I keep the canine cops. And they'd be like, oh, hi, Tanya. How are you? Just want to know if y'all needed any help tonight. Is everything okay? She always was trying to find out what was going on. I'm like, Tanya, Jean. I was so embarrassed. Tanya and I were going to start, okay, this is something I probably never told on here before. Tanya and I, seriously, we were going to start our own business, and we were going to call it Moonlighting, like the TV show, and it was going to be a detective agency. Oh, man. I mean, we've had so many funny times, I don't even really know. I mean, here's the thing I can't do is that so many of Tanya and I's like funny stories or really sad or tragic stories like involve other people. Well, I can tell this story because nobody will know who it's about. So we have these 2 girls. Tanya always seemed to, I think Tanya sponsored the majority of the lesbian population in Indianapolis at one time or another. So anyway, Tanya like sponsored a lot of like lesbian girls back in the day. And so, you know, there'd always be girlfriend issues and problems and whatever. But she did actually, one of our friends dated this girl for quite a long time. And one of them worked at the kennel. I mean, this is until like mid to late 20s and stuff like that. So they broke up, and I can't remember why they broke up, but the girl, it was our friend Liz's ex-girlfriend, and I didn't like this girl anyway. And I didn't like her because I knew that Liz told me that she didn't like me and all this kind of stuff. Because anyway, I took time away from this girl, you know, because Liz and I were always having fun. So anyway, and nobody even knows who these people are. I don't know why I'm always so protective of these stories. It's like all these people do these, like Tana Mojo does these story times about her friends and gets like 10 million views. I'm getting like 2,000 people are watching my vlogs, and I'm talking about people worried that somebody's going to care about something, a breakup that happened 20 years ago, you know? Nobody cares. So anyway, so this gal, she sat in Tanya's living room day in and day out, and she had this ski hat on, and she'd pull it way down far like this, and she just was so sad, and I just was like, I'd come over and she'd just cry and cry. And I'd say, hey, let's just say her name was Sally. I'd say, hey, Sally. I'd walk in and be like, hey, Sally, how are you? She'd start crying. Oh my God, she was driving me nuts. So anyway, I went over there one night and I was like, I said to Tanya, I said, girl, how long are you going to let her stay here? She was like staying, like sleeping in that chair, you know, and then going to work and then coming back to Tanya's and sleeping in that chair. And I said, because she and our friend, like they had a house together. And I said, how long are you going to let her stay there? Like, Tanya, like, this is enough is enough already, okay? And she's like, I know, I just feel so bad for her. And so I said, hey, Tanya, let's go get a fountain pop. So because I want to talk to her about all this, right? So she said, okay. And so we're like leaving, and she looks over and she says like, "Hey Sally," if that's her name, you know. "Hey Sally, we're gonna go get a fountain pop. We'll be back in just a little bit, right?" Okay. We're like almost to the door, and Sally goes, "Do you think I could come?" And I was like, "Oh shit." Excuse me. I was like, "Oh God." So anyway, so there's Sally in the back seat of the car, you know. And Tanya makes me start blasting this country music, because we love country music. And I cannot remember what the song is, but it's about somebody leaving. Somebody will know what song I'm talking about. It's a real famous song. I think it's like a Kenny Chesney song. And it's a real famous song about like, hit those brakes. I can see those brake lights, baby, in the distance, or something like that. It's about somebody leaving, right? It's about somebody leaving, and you're just looking at their car as they drive away, because you want them to tap on those brakes so bad. And I'm like in the car seat, and Tanya's like, "Oh no," like the song came on, and I go to change it because I'm like, this is like the worst breakup song in the entire world. And I go to change it. Tanya goes, "Oh, I love this song." Do you guys know the song I'm talking about? What is this song? It's like, he's like begging her at the end. He's like, "Baby, just tap those brake lights just one more time," or something like that, right? So you know you can see the brake lights, and that means that they're going to stop and come back to you, right? But she doesn't, I don't think, in the song. And so Tanya, like, she turns, she's got her hand on the seat like this, and she turns and she looks back at her, and she goes, "Oh, Sally, this song's just about you and your life, isn't it?" I go, "Tanya, my God," and this girl's like bawling in the back seat of our car. I was like, "Oh my God, Tanya Jean." So anyway, that was a long night. We had to drive her around until she settled down. She don't even live here anymore. She never liked me anyway, so I can tell whatever stories I want to tell about her. Okay, I just told a story I best not tell on here. Just in case somebody out there can put 2 and 2 together and figure out how they'll never figure out who this person is. She don't live here no more. I was never friends with her on Facebook to begin with. We were never friends in real life. She didn't like me. I tried so hard though with her. I really did. Do you ever try so hard? Do you ever like try so hard with somebody like that? And then one day you wake up and you're like, why am I trying so hard with this person? You know, they don't like me and they're not that great of a person anyway. Like what, like why don't I spend my time with the people that do care about me? You know? So I was like, enough of that already. But every once in a while, Tanya will give me an update on her. She'll be like, "Oh, did you know so-and-so is now doing this or that or whatever?" And I'm like, "I don't think she's a very nice person, Tanya." And she's like, "Oh, that was 20 years ago." I'm like, "Yeah, but last time I saw her, she was still bitter as hell." Still one of the angriest people I'd ever met in my entire life. You ever met somebody like that? They were just like so angry always. Always angry. Okay, so that was that. What's that? Silly time, good gift. Well, those tickets are the gift. I'm trying to think of other stuff that Tanya's given me. Tanya, we give each other a lot of those kind of like little meme kind of things. You know, like she gave me one that's like a Charlie Brown cartoon and she had it framed for me. And just like those sayings and stuff like that. We give each other a lot of those kinds of things. I'm trying to think of... think of like the greatest gift that Tanya has given me. Well, you know, Tanya and I were just talking about this the other day. It's like, if I'm out shopping and I see something and I think, oh God, Tanya would love this, I just buy it for her and give it to her. And she does the same thing with me. So it's not like we, oh, you know this house I was telling you about that I was worried that maybe something happened to her? They did put up a wreath on their front tree, or in the front of their house, but that's it. That's it. I hope she's okay. Or he, or whoever lives there. But anyway, I'm driving through Zionsville right now. And Tanya does the same thing for me. Like, if she sees something that she thinks I'll like, you know? Tanya and I are like the friends too. Like, we're like the only... I don't really have a lot of friends that we do this for, but like, I'll get Tanya's dinner and she'll get the next one and back and forth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like when we go to the gas station, like, oh, look at the little bunny rabbit. You know, like I'll get her a fountain pop, and then the next time she'll be like, you need anything else? Is that all you're getting? And I'm like, no. And she's like, I got it, and stuff like that. Somebody on Facebook today that I went to high school with, they were celebrating their birthday at a place called the Lemon Bar, and it looks so adorable. And now I've been to this restaurant before, Cobblestone. That place is great. But it was called the Lemon Bar, and it was here in Zionsville. And I'm like, I have never seen this place called the Lemon Bar. Where is it at? So I'm actually gonna drive around the circle again, or the square. Circle meets the square, and see if I can find this place called the Lemon Bar, because I really want to see it. Okay, this is what is this over here? This is like a realty firm, dental office. You know what I should do before I continue to drive? Since I'm at a stop sign, I should look on here and see another prompt. Oh, it took me out of the vlogerinos. Okay. Vlogerinos. Okay, Carissa. Let's go to, oh shoot. Okay, wait. Day 2. Oh, day 4. Share your favorite holiday foods, meals, where... I feel like I talk about food on here all the time. Okay. Oh, she posted a picture of Alex and I. Okay. Oh, that's just an announcement of all of it. Troy is so good. He is like on here, like posting stuff all the time. You guys, I just want to say one thing that I absolutely love about the vlogerinos. I mean, there's a lot that I love, right? But one thing that I really love on here is that there are so many of you, I was going to say like Cara D. There are so many of you that I have seen like in the names like of the comment sections of my vlogs for years. And now I go to the vlogerinos and I get to see your life. And so it's really cool because you guys have like watched and listened to stories about me for years, but like other than like maybe a profile picture or your name, like I don't really know you guys. And so it's really cool for me to finally be able to see pictures and things like that of you guys. Okay, let's go over here and see another prompt. Favorite holiday movie? I was just talking about traditions the other day on here. Holiday gift, the best gift you've ever received. Well, let's talk about the movie thing for a second. You know, when I was growing up, I have to tell you that I had it taped on like a VCR tape, or maybe it was like a Betamax tape from when I was a really little kid, and it was the local channel version of Miracle on 34th Street. And Bob Gregory, who is a meteorologist here in town, he was on the beginning of the tape introducing it. And I always loved and had to watch the original, okay, I don't want to pass by this place if I see it, the original Miracle on 34th Street with Natalie whatever her name is. I don't know why I can't remember her name now. But I loved that movie so much when I was growing up. I just felt like it was such a movie of like hope and things like that. And I thought it was so Christmassy. And, you know, when I was younger, I really wanted to live in like a big city. I thought, oh, that looked kind of like something cakey. I thought that I would end up like living in Chicago or New York or something like that. So I loved like any movies. Like I was thinking tonight about the movie, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. The made-for-TV movie with Annie Potts. And why can I not think of anybody's name tonight? Not Bob Hope, but the guy that was in those movies back in the day with like Judy Garland. What's his name? The guy that was in all the Judy Garland movies. Shoot, I can't think. But anyway, but I love that song too. But I love those movies that take place like in big cities, and I did when I was a little kid because I thought that I would end up living in a big city. I ended up not living in a big city, obviously, interestingly enough, and now I wouldn't want to live in a big city. I'm going a different way than I usually go because I want to see the houses down here. But I loved Miracle on 34th Street when I was a little kid, and I would watch it incessantly, like over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, look at that street just ends with a house down there. How interesting. I would just watch it over and over and over again. Oh my God, they are in there and they are watching, and what time is it? Like 3 o'clock in the morning, they're sitting in their couch. That house is so cute, and they're watching, oh my God, with the dog on the couch, how cute. They're sitting there, I'm like, well, their windows are huge. You can see right in their house, and they're watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Oh my God, I about died. But I mean, when you turn, you can see like into every angle of that house. Their TV is massive too. This little street right here is so adorable in Zionsville. These houses are incredible. So I loved Miracle on 34th Street, and I would watch it over and over and over and over and over again. I loved all the cartoons. I loved, you know, Rudolph and Charlie Brown, and I think Rudolph was probably my favorite. As I've gotten older, I have to say, I finished Rudolph today, and I started watching Frosty the Snowman. I have to say, as I get older, I kind of enjoy Frosty the Snowman a little bit more. I don't know why. Charlie Brown makes me very sad. It reminds me of my mom, and I'm not really sure why, but, I mean, we would watch it. I'm recording it tomorrow night, which I'm excited about, so I can watch it this year, because you can't watch it really anywhere. You know, I love... Well, Smoky Mountain Christmas is it is so hot in here, you guys. Smoky Mountain Christmas is my absolute favorite Christmas movie of life with Dolly Parton. And, for me, the idea of a perfect Christmas is being snowed in with a bunch of people that you love and playing games, and I just love the adventure factor of being snowed in, but really not having anywhere that you need to go, so it doesn't matter if you can't leave or not. And, well, I don't know where that lemon bar place is, but it's apparently around here somewhere. It's supposed to be real cute. So anyway, that's what its restaurant is called, the Lemon Bar. Isn't that cute? So, I love that idea of being like, you know, snowed in for Christmas, and it's very wintry, and there's like a log cabin kind of thing. And Smoky Mountain Christmas is like the best of all of those, except that there's no like, what do you call it? There's no like blizzard. You can watch Smoky Mountain Christmas on YouTube, by the way, the whole thing. The only thing I don't like is the mountain magic stuff. I could do without that whole piece of the story, but it's whatever. And so it made me want to like go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, or the Smoky Mountains, and you know, like I look back on that very first year that we went up there, and it was like driving up there. We had no idea what we were driving into that night, you know? And so that very first year of driving in there, and we're like, I mean, it really was kind of like Dolly, because she like runs away. She doesn't want to be famous. She wants a break from being famous. So she runs away, and she's like driving down the road, and she like drives up to her friend's cabin in the woods, and I mean, it was very much that for us, and so I kind of lived out my fantasy a little bit, you know, which I'm really thankful that I did that. It's probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, because it's a pretty simple fantasy, you know, that I wanted to spend Christmas in the Smoky Mountains just once in my life, and I actually did it a couple years in a row, and it was really fun. I would do it again. Now, next year we're talking about... Oh, this will probably never happen, but Jason and I were talking about it the other day. Melissa wants to go to Hawaii for Christmas and New Year's next year. Alex has never been to Hawaii. The last time I went, well, the only time I ever went was when I was like 10 with my dad. I don't remember it. And I am totally down for us going and staying. And it would be Melissa and Jason, Aaron and Eric, and Alex and I. And the 6 of us would go to... we would probably leave like Christmas Day or the 26th. And we would go to Hawaii and stay there for like 7 to 10 days, which would be fantastic. Which would be really nice because anything that we would buy each other for Christmas, we would just put into the trip instead, you know? So, that might be next year. We'll have to see. And then... some of my other favorite Christmas movies that I've watched, like Season for Miracles, which I always thought was called Season of Miracles, but I was looking it up the other night online. I couldn't find it. It's called Season for Miracles, and it's about this woman, and her sister's a drug addict. She's Laura Dern, and she's in the hospital, and her kids are going into foster care, so she comes, and she's like super poor. It's like Carla Gugliani, or whatever her name is. I really like her. She was in Spy Kids, and she was in House of Haunted Hill, and all that. So she takes the kids, and they're like on the road, and they're like, where are we going? And she's like, I don't know. And then the kids have to lie and say that she's their mom. So anyway, and they go to this town, and they stay in this house that's empty because the woman that lived there died, and she's waiting for her niece to come back and take over the house. So she acts like she's the niece. And of course she falls in love with like the police officer, and who's real good looking and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's like a Lifetime or a Hallmark made for TV movie, but it's absolutely adorable and I love it. I love that one, and I used to always make cinnamon rolls when I was watching it because the sisters from across the street make these cinnamon rolls. And she even says, because they're like, you probably don't remember us, do you? And she goes, we're the sisters. They go, we're the sisters from across the street. And she goes, that I used to come and visit for those delicious cinnamon rolls, because they're holding a basket of cinnamon rolls. And they're like, we knew you would remember us. Now we forgot your name. I love that so much. Okay. And so I really like Bad Santa. I don't know why. I've only seen it like once or twice a couple years ago, and I really liked it. What else are some of my favorite Christmas movies? It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. I really like that one. Oh, Christmas Carol. I love all the Christmas carols. My favorite, though, is the Pixar one with Jim Carrey. I don't know why I love that. Polar Express, one of my favorite Christmas movies. I think Polar Express, in all honesty, like, I think it is the perfect Christmas movie. I think it has mystery. I think it has magic. I love the idea of, even as an adult, being like wondering whether or not Santa Claus, you know, I love the idea of that, because I'm not convinced. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not. I believe in anything, you know, and I love that movie with Jacqueline Smith, where she and her son and daughter and other son, like, they go, it's called The Night They Saved Christmas, and they, like, you know, because her husband's oil business is, like, hitting too close to the North Pole. I love that one, too. There's a lot of Christmas movies that I love. I wish that, like, there's so many now and people love to watch them. Like, there didn't used to be that many that were put out years before, you know? That I wish that I had started watching them like a month ago. I just said that to Alex like a night or two ago. I was like, I wish I had started watching these movies like a month ago, but I didn't, so. And then the favorite food, I would say, is the sweetheart roll that my mom and I used to always have for Christmas, and I still get to this day. The sweetheart roll from Roslyn Bakery. It's like shaped like a heart. I'll take a picture of it and put it on my Instagram this year when I get it. It's delicious, delicioso. So anyway, well, listen, you guys, I'm gonna get off here and listen to a little bit of my audiobook before I go home and go to sleep. So I hope that you guys are having, well, I haven't even said this yet. I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday. But if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I had fun doing that tonight with all of the prompts. You guys should give me more vlog prompts. I like that. Put vlog prompts in the comment section below. That was fun. Oh, the thing I wanted to say that Kristen said. Well, I'm going to talk about it in a drama video, but I think it was Kristen. She said the thing that she loves most about the vlogerinos is that it's people from all over the world. And she's like, there's people from Germany and there's people from Australia. And she goes, and it's not like they're flexing to show you how much they have. She said, it's about them showing how much they cherish what they have. And I heard that quote and I was like, I think that's the quote for 2021, you know? It has nothing to do with how much you have. It's about cherishing what you do have, you know? The people, the memories, and yes, sometimes the things too, you know, no matter how small or big they are. I cherish my home, you know, I'm extremely grateful for my home. So Kristen, I loved that quote. She'll be like, I didn't say it, and I'll have to look at my phone and be like, oh, it was Judy Smith that said it. But anyway, I'm really happy that there are some of you out there that are enjoying doing Vlogmas, and keep it going. And you guys have better cameras than I do, and I know most of you are probably recording it on your phones. It's like crystal clear. I'm like, oh my God, their videos are so clear and the sound is great, and my videos look like crap because they're recording it on their phone, and I should just do that. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. So if nobody else has told you this today, I love you, and I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! Oh, and for those that need to hear it, and those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more, I love you. I love you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Happy birthday, Lena. Love you guys, see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!